Steam controller that you were looking for. Just about to start off. Just had a pretty late dinner today. Just coming back from the gym, feeling good. It's hump day. Hopefully everybody has had a decent week so far. My condolences to Takuma as he had some sad news today. And without further ado, let me go ahead and get started on the show. What's up, fam bam? What's up, guys? Hopefully you guys have had a great week so far. It is hump day. Hopefully that your week has been going smooth, especially with the release of the Steam controller. I don't know how many people had struggled in order to get it. It was released on May 4th at 1 p.m. Pacific, well, 1 p.m. Eastern time. It was 10 a.m. Pacific time that the Steam controller was released. And some of you were lucky enough to be able to grab your hands on it. And some of you were not as lucky. Some of you were not as fortunate because there was multiple errors. Now, if you did have problems getting the Steam controller, are you willing to attempt to try to get your hands on it now? Especially because it's going to end up reposting. They will end up putting it back up on sale. From what it seems like, it's going to end up re-releasing like around within probably a few days from now, because they sold a lot more controllers than they originally thought they would. So that's always good news when you hear something like this. Hopefully it's a great controller. I can't wait to have the controller in hand, so that way we can definitely look it over and give it a review of how well this controller is, and plus for the money. Some people feel that $100 is expensive for the controller, but it does have a lot of very interesting features. So before I continue here, now I do have to say, if anyone's curious about the whole 9950 X3D2, I did do the benching. I released that video this morning. So if you want to check that out, feel free. I have all the statistics on it. Did prices go up? I didn't get to talk about that just quite yet, but that's a great question. We'll get into that. There is rumors that, of course, prices are going to continue going up, especially when it comes to RAM and when it also comes to SSDs. Anything that requires pretty much the chipsets like DRAM, NAND, and same thing with VRAM. Hopefully it doesn't. We'll know for sure once Computex comes into play, because once Computex is here, we'll know for sure how it's going to look. But we could check out the stock and the inventory to see how it's looking currently at Micro Center. So the RAM currently you can get for pretty decent deals as of now, which we will take a look at here. I will shift over to the Micro Center screen here. Now, if you take a look here at Micro Center, it does seem like they're having some pretty decent deals, especially for the 5070. Of course, the 5070 is not going to be the GPU that everyone is going to be looking for, but they do have it for $559.99. Now, this is going to be a great option for anyone that is planning to just game on 1080p. No more than that. Sure, you could push it to 1440p if you would like to, but you would require much more minimal settings. 12 gigabytes of RAM is typically not enough. I usually recommend to get at least 16 gigabytes as the standards. Hopefully this does bring the case of game optimization, which we certainly need, especially for this year and the following year. Now, they're saying that this whole shortage could last until 2027. That's what they originally said. Now they're saying that it could even last a bit further than that. There is also going to be another situation that is happening at Computex, which might be exciting for some of you guys, especially for those who are trying to build a new PC, or maybe you want to swap out your motherboard. But what's going to happen is that they're going to feature a new chipset, not really a new chipset or really official name, but as you know, one of the best boards you can get when it comes to AMD is going to be the X870E. Now, it's rumored that BioStar is going to drop one of their new motherboards that will be compatible with AM5, as is rumored as it's called as the X970E. So Hidden Bull says, I checked memory used on my 9070 XT and on my 4K, and a lot of games run around 11 gigabytes, so 12 gigabytes might do it. Really? That's pretty impressive. Is it any particular games that you ran where it seemed like it satisfied that need? Because it seems like most of the games that I end up playing, it always barely touches between closer to like 14 or 15 gigabytes. And this is going to be more on the, okay, iRacing. That makes a bit sense. Because it's certain games that do require a bit of VRAM. So, I mean, I think I've heard that they were going to release DDR6 at 2028. So, like, what's the point? Even with the crisis with DDR6, we're supposed to be probably higher in the price than the DDR5 Imagine with Crisis. Absolutely. Of course, that could be a big issue. I think when they release DDR6, it's going to be very similar. If you guys remember back when DDR5 first released, they didn't really actually have a lot of it. In fact, it was almost the same exact situation we were in. They didn't have enough DDR5 produced, so they were easily going online and flipping. They were actually flipping the DDR5. So they would end up selling it for $1,200 for a DDR5 kit. But then, of course, this was in 2021. Now we had the shortage that's happened since of last year, 25 of October. So hopefully, what's up, Weenie? Great to see you. Yeah, so I just got to ask you, anybody that's come in, I've got to ask you if you managed to get your hands on a Steam controller. I know everyone's had a bit of trouble trying to get their hands on it. I've been seeing a lot of grievances online about it, that you were unable to get through the whole checkout side of things. Of course, I had to consistently kind of spam the buy now button in order to purchase it, because I kind of figured, just like any large purchase, whether if it's something that's super anticipated like this whole new Steam controller, or when it comes to the new consoles or a new GPU, you just have to hurry up and just jump on it. So Weenie says, no, I'm not buying it. Hey, I don't blame you. I can completely understand why you want it. They're also saying that they're supposed to have like about 50 tons of Steam machines, which is roughly about between 17 to 20,000 units. So I'm curious to see how well Steam Machine does, how well they end up selling. But again, we're going to know due time. Now, if anyone does plan on building a PC, what I would highly recommend for anyone to do, especially if you are building, is to go into the bundles that they feature at Micro Center or Newegg. So for Micro Center, if you're looking for an AMD bundle, you just go ahead and click AMD bundle and see what they feature today, because usually there's always something great and something new. So it looks like they got SSDs now on the front page, which is a pretty good thing. So it says $50 off them bundled. So you can get an SSD, a 2 terabyte Western Digital SN850X. Now that's a PCI Express 4. It's not PCI Express 5. So if you were looking for a PCI Express 5, obviously it's going to be a bit more money. And then 4 terabytes is about $600. Now it's saying this is after $50 off. So when you do purchase it, you do only have a limit of 2 purchasing this this SSD kit. But you look over, they have a RAM kit that you can certainly purchase for about $300, which is 6,000 megahertz. And more than likely, it's probably going to be like CL36 if I were to guess. Now, Weenie says, I already have a PC and no spare money for that. I get it. Is ASUS Prime 5070 Ti a bad card? No, not at all. Absolutely not a bad choice to get. If you are trying to get a GPU, they do have some great options. Now, the Prime is like pretty much the base level. It still technically uses the same exact GB203. That's what the Prime would use. All the 5070 Ti's, all the different variants will still use that same chipset. The only difference is that they use a different set of fans. Now, they do have other options out there if you're open to it, as Gigabyte Gaming Overclock is also a good one, and they also have MSI Trio if that's available. But of course, if they only have the ASUS Prime 5070 Ti, that's also a option for you to end up going with. So did I? No, I did not go to the F1 race. I did see a lot of coverage on it. So did anybody get to actually see it out of curiosity? So drop in the dog says, quick question, boss. Which motherboard would be better for gaming? ASUS ROG Crosshair X870E Dark Hero ATX motherboard or the MSI MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi motherboard? Now, if you were to pick between the two, they're both phenomenal boards. Now, it's going to depend on a bit of preference. So we're going to look over it together real quick so you can pretty much make your mind. Now, what type of games do you plan on playing? What type of GPU do you plan on pairing with this motherboard? So Weenie says, if a GPU does have that noise, doesn't mean the fans are broken. I don't get why people people don't like the sound of fans, of course. A lot of newer GPUs, as if you guys don't know, they feature 0 decibels, meaning that the fans don't turn on until you absolutely need the fans. So if you do plan on getting a GPU, most of the new modern 50 series cards will have the 0 decibel technology. Regardless if you either get the Noctua or if you go to MSI Shadow or if you go to ASUS Prime, they should pretty much all feature it there. So I like the ASUS better because of the BIOS interference. It makes sense. And the good thing about ASUS too is that they do feature, when it comes to ASUS's products, they manage to present the PCB motherboard very well. The layers are nice and layered well, so you don't have to worry about any damage. They typically have back plates, especially I know the ASUS ROG Crosshair X870E has a back plate, which is definitely a plus. I don't think the MSI Carbon has a back plate, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll double check it right here, in fact. So we're going to go into Newegg. We're going to take a look at the X870E, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So when you look at the Hero X870E, on the back of a motherboard, they have a piece of support. Now, most people can certainly appreciate it because this also does help when it comes to the durability of it. So mine cut down on at 100% at 50 degrees and stays there until the card comes back down to 49 degrees. Hey, I mean, you could completely customize it to however you like. That's the wonderful thing about GPUs. You can tune it, especially when using something like MSI Afterburner. It's definitely a plus for those who do want to take advantage of that. Also, what I was talking about when it comes to the backplate side, when you take a look at this motherboard, if you look here, let me see. Let's see if they show it. They should. Of course, they don't have a picture of the backplate. They typically have a backplate. Well, I'm going to have to Google this now because it looks like they don't have it on the standard stock photos here. X870E Hero backplate. So it looks something like this. So this is what the backplate is. So if you were, okay, so here Tech Power Up has a good, decent picture of it, but this is the backplate of the motherboard. So ASUS does feature that. So the durability is really nice when it comes to ASUS's product, when it comes to something like this. Now, if you look up the Carbon, the X870E Carbon Wi-Fi, they do not have it. I don't believe they have it. Wi-Fi backplate. So you look in the back of it, there you go. And this is one of the things that certainly stand out between the two. One has a backplate, one does not. So, of course, preferably, most people would certainly go with one with the backplate, especially if you're going to spend that type of money. So, should I buy DDR552? Yeah, I mean, if you could get it for a decent deal. I looked at research on degradation. Exponential curve around 50 to 65 degrees Celsius is the degradation that such a processor will be out of its useful life. Interesting. Now, I bought a 5900 XT32 thread CPU for $260. Now, it came out at $800. Hard to believe it dropped. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's all with technology. Anything that comes out when it's fresh, just like the 9950 X32, it's just come out. Sure, it's going to be expensive. If you want it, it's going to cost you like $900 for that processor. So you give it like about a decent like 3 or 4 years, you're going to see a significant price drop from it. Of course, there's going to be newer CPUs and faster CPUs, but again, this is what typically happens to technology. I mean, think about back in the 90s when you were able to purchase a full PC tower. You get the PC case, you get the CRT monitor, you get the keyboard, you get the mouse, all for like $2,000. And now I bet you can find that whole same exact kit for probably like $50 to $100. Of course, you got some collectors out there that likes to collect that type of stuff there, that type of retro PC, but usually you can get it for a really low price when it comes to tech. What's up, Z-Man? LSG, what's up? Great to see you there. I make sure to have fans on 100%. By 60 degrees Celsius seems like a solid temperature you picked as well. So you bought a new 5070 for $550. Awesome. Nice. That's a pretty decent deal there. Yeah, that's really hard to beat. So let's go back to the comparison side, as I want to go back on Newegg, and we're going to take a look at some of the features that the ASUS X870E Hero does feature. So when you take a look here, now I'm not going to read all this, more the marketing side of things like AI cooling, of course, just a piece of software. It can go up to 256 gigabytes. Let's go more on the technical side. Let's go into specs. So we're going to go down here. And one of the bigger features that ASUS, I can say, does have, they have Nitro path for when it comes to their memory. So it gives you a more clean connection, so it has more continuity to your RAM. So that way you can get faster speeds when you are gaming. That's certainly an advantage if you go with AMD's X870E Hero. So 9950X3D2 or a D270K, that's a great question, LSG. To answer that question real quick, now if you're doing it professionally, this is what I have to say. Professionally, I mean, like, you're already doing it. You're already big on streaming as it is. Then the 9950X3D2, go for it. Sure, it can be quicker, but again, it's more expensive. Honestly, if you want to save a bit of money, just go 9950X3D. It's not such a large jump, but it's great because you have the dual Vcache. You don't have to worry about the scheduling issue. As we tested when it came to the 9950X3D2. But for the majority of people, if I were to rank it, I would go 270K plus first, 9950X3D second, and then go 9950X3D2 as the absolute last and most necessary purchase if you are professional. Now, but the 5900 XT is all the CPU I need. So the question right now, do you need the best CPU? Yeah, and the thing is, it just depends on what you're doing with the CPU. For what type of task are you trying to accomplish here? Are you trying to just game? If you're trying to game, you don't really need such a demanding CPU. You don't need a 9950X3D2. Sure, it looks great. It's awesome. It tells you that, but it tells you right on the box that it's meant for workloads. It's meant for creators. Not as much for gamers, but they do mention it, nevertheless, on the last section of the box. But I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend, for anybody that's gaming, the 270K Plus just released. You can buy it for $330. If you want to go AMD, go with the 7800X3D. You can get it for a much cheaper rate. So, what are your thoughts of the NZXT H9 Flow? It's a great case. Actually, one of Ricky, one of our guys, we went to Micro Center. He ended up picking up the NZXT H9. Great, wonderful case. It's large. You can pretty much fit a E8TX motherboard in there if you wanted to and still have plenty of room. So it's great when it comes to airflow, and it's just a really nice case to add some more optional accessories even to it. So Z-Man says, hey, I will be picking up the 270K Plus. It will be my secondary PC. Will be pairing with the 5070 Ti. Great. If that's a choice, if you do plan on pairing it with the 5070 Ti, you could already imagine the benchmark numbers. We kind of went through it. I have the 270K Plus actually hooked up. I also had the 9950X3D2 hooked up. So if you guys want to see benchmarks, we could certainly put that on and run some tests if you want to see how frames are looking like. Now, just to give you guys some insight for those who want to run benchmarks, just to give you an idea, the 9950X3D2 has the 9070 XT. Now, the Gigabyte build, the Lean build, is a 270K plus with the 5070 Ti. So, of course, I got to state the obvious. The 5070 Ti is just a little bit better than the 9070 XT when it comes to the whole ray tracing side. Not a little bit better, but more like a generation ahead. So, when it comes to frames, don't be surprised if some of the frames are a bit lower compared to this 270K plus because of, the 9950 X3D2 has a bit lower frames because of that. So certainly expect that. So let's see. What's up, Southstar? Great to see you. Thank you for stopping in. I got to see that you got to see the whole 9950 X3D2 bench. That was quite interesting, right? Hopefully everybody out there got to check it out. Gave you an idea what the 9950 X3D2 can offer there. So it's really an interesting CPU, I gotta say. I was really digging into it. Can you imagine? I pretty much spent the whole Sunday just like really locked in, really focused, just tracking every little bit of information I could pull out the 9950 X3D2 and on a ASRock motherboard to see how well it would handle it. And luckily it wasn't too bad. It didn't burn up. So if anyone was worried about that, obviously it didn't. It did well. I'm also I plan on doing some more tests, like different types of tests, but I want to do different type of thermal paste to see how well it handles it. At first we tried this new one. It was from Japan. It was given to us to test it out. It wasn't too bad. It kept the CPU nice and cool for the most part. But I'm pretty confident Thermal Grizzly might keep it a bit cooler. Of course, we do have Arctic Silver as well. We can test it with that too. Or MX6. Or, no, I think I got MX5, not MX6. But do you think is it worth waiting for Nova Lake? Do you think it will be revolutionary? Just like, now, Nova Lake, yes. I'm glad you brought that up because the BLC is what is supposed to be like the V cache killer. That's supposed to be the rival side of Intel's resolution when it comes to going up against AMD. I think we have to certainly wait to see how well it performs. I do think that AMD will have more competition. I think they did get a bit more laxed in the processor space because they're not making great processors. They obviously are. It's just that their mind is very focused right now in the whole AI sector. And I think Intel has an equal split when it comes to not just the whole AI sector, but also focus on the gaming side. But what more interestingly enough, AMD did say that they believe that the whole PC gaming community would end up dropping like about 20% roughly. So yeah, I almost bought the same board you used on the 270K build, but I ended up going with the ASUS ROG Strix Z890E game. Hey, that's a great motherboard. I'm glad you chose it. It's awesome that you chose. Nothing wrong with going ASUS. Definitely one of the top tier motherboards you can get out there. You're going to love it. I keep rocking my 5800X, 3070, and 32 gigabyte system until they can't get me at 240 frames in COD at 1080p. Yes, that's all that matters. If your PC still can game, there is no need for you to worry about RAM, no need for you to worry about sort of SSD, depending on your size, on your capacity. That's debatable, but if you don't need it for now, if you can have the patience of uninstalling and reinstalling, then it's not going to be a big deal. Even if you have a 1 terabyte drive, a lot of people out there can certainly manage. I certainly believe you can manage it. So did the BIOS that I haven't got to test it. I was so busy hidden with the whole testing with the 9950 X3D2. I was not able to just check it quite yet, but I'm glad you reminded me. You just reminded me about that whole situation, and I will take a look at that. So, bro, how did I get such weird luck all of a sudden? What happened, Alex? So I have a very weird PC at the moment, 5800X, 16 gigabyte DDR4, 3600 megahertz, and a 5070 OC. Not a bad build. It's still a good PC. It still runs really well, I bet. I bet you're getting the frames that you're looking for Grand Theft Auto Online. So, do you trust Sega Top gold rated power supplies? I've looked online and they say, I think they're decent. They are a bit sketchy. Now, again, power supplies, you want to get a decent power supply. I can't stress that enough. You don't have to get gold rated even. You can get silver rated. It still works great, or bronze rated. Most of the time you're going to see gold though now. That seems like more the standard. And then they've been pushing like gold, titanium, and then whatever's on top of titanium now. It's pretty, oh, platinum. That's what they have, I think. But anyway, the point is you want to have a decent power supply. You want to go with something like, if you are looking for a decent pair, like MSI actually has great power supplies. You could actually pick up their power supplies for a decent deal. So Weenie says Intel's iGPUs are beating AMD's right now. Oh, you know what? You just reminded me, Weenie. That's what I forgot to test. I forgot to test the iGPUs in it. Well, for Intel's the iGPU. For AMD, it's going to be called the iGPU. Now I'm getting mixed up. Intel's iGPUs, and for AMD, they call them pretty much like the integrated graphics. That's what I meant to say. Integrated graphics, pretty much. It's just pretty much similar to what iGPU is. But Hidden Bull says, I put the Max supported M.2 in old computers and they feel great. Yeah, I mean, it does a lot for a system. Because if you guys remember, originally when you had your PC, especially when it came to older PCs, the biggest upgrade you could do was when you upgraded your RAM. It would feel so much faster in startup. But until they came out with SSDs, that was a complete game changer. Like, it's almost like RAM was unnoticeable of a difference at that point. So Jamil says, I think Intel is going to be busy with AI as well after Nova Lake releases. We're not going to get not that good CPUs after Zen 6 and Nova Lake in terms of years. It's going to be a bit slower, but I do have to say, I am certainly interested in the fact to see how well it's going to happen when it comes to Computex. What will they release? What kind of things do they have up their sleeves? I apologize for anyone that was looking forward for me going to Computex this year. Unfortunately, I will not be able to reach over to Computex. But I will ensure to try to get there next year for sure. Of course, we have a dog to take care of. He just turned 14 years old. Yay. Happy birthday, Jonah, by the way. So to be honest, I think Intel's going to win. AMD has no advantage in my opinion right now. It's only Vcache. Yeah, apparently they're supposed to have this new weapon. It's supposed to be with their processor here. When it comes to, they figured a way to bypass their whole memory controller side, how they can make it better, how they can have less problems with it. But again, we'll see. That's a rumor. You have to take with a grain of salt because we don't really truly know until it actually happens here. So Intel starts being more bang for the buck. I will ditch AMD, no problem. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Intel has been a very good system. So Rexo ROFC says which iGPU, because I know Strix's Halo AI Max 395, whatever is the best ones I know. Okay. So if we're comparing CPUs here, if we're comparing the whole integrated graphics, whether if it comes to Intel and standard AMD processors, we're not focused on just the more of a typical SoC that you would see inside of a laptop or inside of a handheld. We're talking more the ones that come with desktop PCs. Now, of course, they do have the 8000 series AMD processors, which are supposed to be a bit heftier for it. They're designed to have better GPUs, but of course, you lose some of your other connectivity that you would want on a motherboard. You would sacrifice some of, say, your PCI Express because of it. But again, it's all on preference, and most people don't get processors because of the iGPU anyway. It's just a decent backup for anyone out there that does want to take advantage of it anyway. So SY Breed says, my PC is struck by lightning. My PSU is fried. Then my GPU and motherboard is fine. Now, I can say if your PSU is fried. Now, it all depends here. Did your PC, was it running at the time? It could have possibly shorted, yes. Look, what you would have to do is examine your motherboard, see if there's any blown capacitors, see if there's anything that doesn't look right. You'll know if your motherboard isn't correct. Same thing with your GPU. Unfortunately, the GPU you can probably more than likely won't probably see it unless you take off the actual housing or the shrouding when it comes to your GPU to see how the PCB is. Now, that's if you want to be extra precautious. Of course, you could try to start it up. I mean, it's not going to truly do much. Like if it doesn't turn on, it's not going to turn on. But you can physically check it first to see if the components are okay. So Chris, if I pull up with the 5090 with the A9950X3D2 versus a 5080 9950X3D2 5090, is it going to be faster? So you're saying if you have a 5090 with a 9950X3D2 versus a 5080 versus 90, I don't get the question. What, well, what do you mean by faster? Real quick, gas out. Do you mean like it just depends on what you're doing here, because if it's going to be CPU task related, it'll be pretty much the same. Now, if it's going to be GPU rated, of course, a 5090 is going to outdo it. So again, they should be the same tier. It shouldn't be that much of a difference. So I don't remember I watched a video or the other day here on YouTube. Oh, really? I think the statement shows our age. Yes. Yes, exactly. I think so too. I agree with Champ there. Thank you for the follow. I certainly do appreciate it. Now, Cybreed only testing to find out. Upgrading RAM. Yeah, upgrading RAM was like a big thing back then. Like if your PC was running slow, RAM was usually the solution, especially at startup. Startup was the biggest issue. I remember where you had to wait for the logo screen. I can't even remember the count. Like when it came to Windows XP, and I know most of you guys out there who has experienced this time set, when the boot screen for Windows XP came out, you would see the green bar, the load bar, and then it would go by pretty much like an infinite loop. So you would actually count. I've counted it for my PC. Like if it passes by at least like 6 or 7 times, the PC is going to start up then. But if it's anything less, I don't expect the PC to start up. And I'm sure many of you probably did the same thing. So Mr. X says, I want to buy a new LGA 1700 CPU for the RTX 5070, and I have a 650 watt gold power supply. What CPUs would you suggest? Now, what are you trying to do with it? Champ says, I'm rooting for AMD. Yeah, hey, let's see. I hope that they have a really good brawl between Intel and AMD. That's all we can ask for, because at least the pricing can get a bit more fair. Just imagine when they come out with this new 52 core beast that has a BLK in it, this whole new how it's going to be able to compete against something like the 9950X3D2, because that would be practically its rival at that point. You got 52 cores that are physical without hyperthreading, and then you have one where it's about 20, it has 16 cores and 32 threads, where it has hyperthreading, has SMT, and where Intel does not. Of course, they both have their advantages their own way, and I'm really curious to see how well it will perform. So yeah, I was talking about desktop iGPUs. What companies show in every single PC company will be there. That's the thing about Computex. It's like a much better showing. CES is great. CES is great for PC shows, but Computex really is like the king of it. They will have every single manufacturer when it comes to PCs. You'll see Corsair, NZXT. You'll see ASUS. You'll see MSI, Gigabyte. You'll see all the big ones out there for sure. Let's talk builds versus speeds. 420, 140 millimeter. I told you I have to run at high end. Huh? You're throwing me off here now. So I like eye candy. I crank the settings up and I play at least in 1440p. Sometimes 4K is as long as if I'm getting 60. Hey, and that just shows you sometimes what they sell you is completely just pretty much false when it comes that you have to have the newest equipment. You have to have the newest components in order for you to run smoothly, but it's not always the case. I am really curious to see how well it's going to handle for the rest of this year when it comes to optimizations. For anybody that has AMD right now, there is an update for your driver. So if you have an AMD 9070 XT or AMD 7900 XTX, or you have any of the AMD GPUs, that there is an update for you. And apparently they were able to fix Pragmata to be a bit more optimized. Same thing with Resident Evil. They were able to optimize it even a bit better. So you can really imagine. So Sarge, what's up, Sarge? So Steve, waiting for Gigabyte's Radeon RX 9070 XT gaming OC. Oh yeah. RAM with 5900 XT, 16 gigabytes for your new build all AM4. Awesome. Can't wait to see how that turns out. I bet it's going to be quite marvelous. You had high temps with that chip. That could cause different times. Yeah, it all depends. Please suggest a CPU for a 5070. I just want to game. So if you're just trying to game and you just want a 5070, just like gaming at 1080p, honestly, you can get away with like even like something like AMD's 7800X 3D if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to get something pretty decent and for a good deal, I mean, take a look. We'll go right here and look up 7800X 3D. And you don't even have to get X3D. You could get like a 7600X and you'd probably be happy. This is 344 currently. Let me just make sure it's from Newegg here. And from Newegg, you can actually get it for about 344. Let's see if we could get a better deal. So see how much a 7600X is. Because you'd probably be happy with that. 176. So you get it for even a better deal. 7600X again. This more than likely will fit your needs. You don't have to spend that much. That's if you want to go AMD. Now, if you go Intel, you could go 250K plus. You'll be certainly happy. 270K plus is pretty much the same price as the 7600X 3D. It's pretty wild to really think about. So, actually, 91 degrees Celsius isn't bad. Yes, 95 degrees Celsius would be throttle. That is correct. Intel might do prices up to the current AMD prices. That would be bad, but I get a feeling that's why they are going for them. Intel has always been really good when it comes to temps, and that's mainly because it doesn't really require on the extra like Vcache like how it does when it comes to AMD. So I'm really curious to see how this whole the BLK, how that's going to come out when Intel's end here. So Sarge says MSI A13, great fans, by the way. Usually, I remember Newegg actually had a special to where if you were going to get a processor, for example, you would be able to pick up some MSI AI. You could pick up an MSI AIO full 360 for a good deal. So Hidden Bull says I can hit 95 degrees Celsius with the 9950X 3D and a 9950X, both with the 360 AIO when I do. Yeah, you're probably going on Furmark or something. I bet that's part of your stress test. That's like the serious, like if you really want to max it out and hit throttle. Linux Mint is using the NVIDIA 595 driver. I thought I would never see the day. Absolutely. It doesn't happen often. Does not. How does one refurbish it? You clean it with a bit of alcohol on the heat spreader, and that's it. I guess that's how you would refurbish it. That's the best thing you can do. Just kind of get alcohol, like very little dab of it, and kind of just wipe it clean. But I guess you can refurbish it in that sense, unless they put a new plate on it. That would be considered refurbish. Crisco 140 millimeters with 420 and test again. You have to change for why change? Pixel, what's going on? Only run 420 with a high end, just like a car. But that wasn't the point of that test. The test was to see how well. It's not the point was trying to break records, because obviously I'm not trying to overclock or do anything like that during the test. This was more for stability and to see how well the scheduling was when it came to the 9950X 3D2. Now the 1K Focus Seasonic. Hey, that's an awesome choice. Seasonic is always good. When it comes to power supplies, they're actually the top of the list when it comes to picking out for me. So this was mentioned before the chip release. I'm on the 240 millimeter IQ-AIO, and mine's never hit 95 degrees Celsius. I think I've seen 75 degrees Celsius as highest when loading with CPU-Z. Oh, okay. So which processor is this? Again, just remind me. Pixel says I have one 16 gigabyte DDR4 2666 megahertz. Should I get a second one? I mean, you could. If you could get it for a decent deal. You're right. It's crazy to see a 270K match a 7700 X3D price like a 270K feels close to. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Exactly. That's what I feel like too. It's just too close of a match. So I don't think there was actually much difference in. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I think it's more the application of the thermal paste. But again, I'm gonna retest it anyway. I'm gonna reapply different thermal paste and run some tests. I'm sure your guys are curious about that. I do want to get Thermal Grizzly's pad so we can see how the cooling is. If for those who are curious about who preferably want to use the pad for better cooling, I think it's been proven before that the pad was like the best solution. I'm gonna try a few different paste, and we will try the pad as well to see what type of temperatures that we can pull out of it. So, DDR4 RAM 16 gigabytes, aluminum blade RGB 3600 megahertz CL16. That's definitely the fastest you can get for it. And B-die is like the good days, like back when you could. That's when you tuned RAM. Everyone used to tune RAM back then. Everyone's house not cold, guys. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. That if you guys, of course, as you guys know, that's what I should bring up too. The ambient temperature in this the studio is probably about like maybe 2 or 3 degrees warmer compared to the rest of the house because of all the PCs. So technically, this room's probably closer to, I would say, like probably like if I say US temperature, it's like around 77, 78 degrees Celsius. Not Celsius, Fahrenheit. And if it's in Celsius, I would say roughly about like closer to probably like about 23, not even 23, more like 24, 25, I would say. Probably like around that. 24, 25 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit. I don't live in the Arctic. The PCs would love it, of course. So when I have air of temps go up, no why. So just run your AZ on 50 degrees. I should. Honestly, I thought about getting like a separate AC unit just for the studio, just so that way it can keep cool. Because again, it's like it does run hot in here. It does really run hot. So, any idea if the 5000 Super Series will drop at the end of the? Actually, I'm starting to have a lot of doubts of it. I know some people are in hopes of a 5000 series Super set that actually release. I know for sure, and I know we will see in the near future that you will see some planning. You will see some leaks of it, pretty much, and you'll probably see some even attempted prototypes of it. But more than likely, we're not going to see it. I don't think so. I think we're actually just going to go straight to 6000 series. I think they're going to end up getting rid of the Super Series. I think it only lasted through the whole, I think really the 4000 series and the 3000 series, and that's it. I think Supers will eventually make a comeback, but not in the current climate, unfortunately. Sarge says, saw that install where the guy put a touch of Grizzly in the corners for a perfect install and very thin item. Let's see. I bring up the RTX Pro 4500 has cores of the 5080, but the 32 gigabytes of VRAM, just treat that as the super. And I like how he just says no. So Pixel says, is the RTX 3070 a better option than a 5060 for 1440p? I mean, yeah, obviously, yes. I would say 3070 was actually more closer to a 3070 than what the 5070 is. So 3070 is a decent option to go with. But of course, you have to keep in mind too. You have to keep in mind of the whole VRAM side. And depends on how much you're trying to push graphics too. So, Chris, it's beautiful there. I understand the heat there. Yes, yes. So, Anella says, I look into that. Oof. So so you'll get the best features on the 5060. See, the advantage that you would have when it comes to the 50 series is that you would have the frame generation. That's the biggest thing. If you want to take advantage of the actual transformer and the models of the 5000 series of the RTX 50 series practically, then you have to go with the 50 series. Especially if you want to try that whole new DLSS 5. I think that kind of really backfired on NVIDIA's part. But we'll see. We'll see what they come out with now. The thermal pad, yes. Yes. That's what I'm curious about. I have to get some thermal pads in to run the test. I have a ton of pace though. DLSS 4.5. I have been on PTM 7950 thermal pad on all my CPUs for a couple years. It's been great. Yeah, I mean, everybody loves it. Everybody definitely raves about how well the pads are. It's like, but the thing is, like, once you install it, guys, like once you install the pad, just to let you guys know, like it's not like you can just simply just reinstall it. It's always good to replace it if you have to, for some reason, lift off your if you have to lift off your pump or if you have to lift off your cold plate. Did they say when 6000 series? More than likely, we'll probably see it probably at the end of this year. We're not going to see anything. We'll probably see like new editions, like limited editions of the 50 series cards, but you're not going to see anything crazy. You're not going to see any differences when it comes to the whole 50 series. You'll see like probably like a like say a Pragmata edition, which they already have, but just like around that side of things, you'll see like different, very niche type of GPUs. So RTX 3060 with GDDR7 VRAM, 12 gigabytes would be awesome. You can modify it, definitely modify it. Yes, I did. I'm working on it. I am working on it. Yeah, a lot of people are just are not happy with it. Capcom was not happy with it. When they saw what they did to Resident Evil, they were probably they pretty much said that video like, "What are you doing? This is not what we truly wanted." So it's a thermal phase change once you power it up. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hit it. I'm glad you explained it out there. Um, Also, the 30 series is getting extended driver support. Yes, well, it should. Anything that's like within the 20 series and up will still continuously have driver support as long as if it's in the RTX line. I do expect that NVIDIA will end up changing the lineup this upcoming when they come out with the 6000 series. I certainly do expect it. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but I can see it actually happen if that's the case here. So price of the 6000, if you guys are curious about the price, if it's a good thing it's not out yet, because if it is, it's just going to be expensive. It's going to blow everybody's budget, as you can imagine, because at the minimum, like you can imagine that the whole RTX, like say they came out with an RTX 6090, it would, at this current climate, it'd probably be closer to, they could probably pull it off for 2, like they did with the 5090 originally, but they would push it to 25 more than likely. Probably push everything up, like that would turn into 2500. The 5080 would turn into back into the full, probably closer to the 1250 type of range. And then you can imagine the 5070 or the 6070 would go a little bit up in today's climate. So then you can imagine how much it's going to be after manufacturers and how expensive it would be then. So, yes, exactly, Weenie. $900 for a 6060 at this point. 8,000. Yes, I'll close it out for 8,000. And that's something that's realistic at this point. 6090. And imagine the Dual Hobbit edition, a gold edition 6090 card. You can imagine how expensive that would be. I mean, let's, it makes me curious. How much is that currently? Let's see, Dual Hob. I should type in Dual Hobbit edition. Or always mess up the wording on this. Let's see. I think it is, let's see. The RTX 5080. Yes, let's see. The Hob. I think it's the Hob. If I'm getting this right, I'm trying to find it here. I know everything will sell. If it's NVIDIA, it'll just sell anyway. I don't think they'll have it. Here it is. There it is. No, but you can get you could get a business to get paid to play. Take a look at this. This is still up in price here. If you're unfamiliar with this, this is the RTX 5080 Dahab Core Overclock Edition, and of course, it's going to cost you at least $26.30. Now, this isn't directly from Newegg. It's coming from Hong Kong, so it's coming from pretty much like a private seller at that point. So again, it's still really expensive. Micro Center even has it. Let's see. I don't even think they have it in stock. I know there's someone that bought it. Oh, available for in-store pickup. Wonderful. They do have it in stock. No, I guess not. Let's see. I guess I got to put the store in real quick. Let's see. Here it is. They don't have it in stock. So if anyone was looking forward for this, they don't have it in stock. No, but you can get guess there's no 2050s, 4050s, no 6050s. No. I mean, they're pretty much like a wasted generation, if that's not generation, but a wasted card. I mean, they do have 5050s out there. It's just nobody's gonna buy it. Maybe like if you're truly like want something like maybe like for like truly a purposeless type of PC, like more like if you're just doing everyday type of task. But people will get a 5050 just if they don't find anything else. I saw a 5070 Ti for $900. That's actually good. Actually, let's take a look at that because I'm curious about the pricing. Let's see at the top deals here. So, of course, they got Apple deals. Now, here's their top deals at Micro Center. So, if you guys are curious. Now, the number one deal, iPad. I don't think anyone cares for that. Then you have the Ryzen 9800X3D. They do have the 9800X3D for a wonderful $419.99. I'm still surprised it's not at that $400 range. I would have thought by now it would hit $400 even. But again, they do have it. Then next to it, they do have the Intel 265K plus, I mean not plus, 265KF. You can get it for $220. A decent deal. Obviously, I would just spend the extra $100 to get the 270K plus because it's a much more powerful processor than this. And let's take a look down here. No, 5060 Ti is obviously not going to be better than a 5070 Ti. And if somebody ever told you that, that's just a lie. That's 100% not true. So they got the Aurora Act 1250 gaming PC. That's on sale. It comes with a 5080, 16 gigabytes, and 32 gigabytes of RAM. So it's probably CL36 more than likely. Processor, it's a decent PC. That's actually a pretty decent PC that you can get. So that's actually a decent one. That's actually a good deal, but again, not everyone's going to be fans of Alienware here, so you might not like it. And then of course they got the G760 for about $1,800. So a 5070 for really, that's really awesome. 270K isn't the only Intel I would buy. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like nobody would get the 285K if that's the point. Everyone would just go. In fact, one of our members, Amir actually he had the 285K, and then he actually chose to just opt in and go with the 270K plus instead. And he says it's so much better of a it's so much better of a CPU compared to what it is compared to his 285K. So he's definitely on the same page with you there. Plastic, what's up? 4070 Ti Super is a close runner-up. There you go. Yes, it is. Ernesto, what's up? Great to see you there. This is why I don't pay little. I search Amazon, of course. No micro centers. I feel so bad because they need to build up more micro centers. I think that would certainly help out everybody out there that's looking for a place to definitely shop at. But if you don't have a micro center near you, Newegg is certainly the next best option for you guys. For anyone that needs to purchase PC parts, because I mean Newegg actually has some decent deals, and I showed everyone this trick. You go on Newegg, and if you were to get like something like a 270K plus, you just look it up, and they usually have pretty decent bundles. You can actually, like right now, they have this time instead of a motherboard bundle, you can get an ASRock power supply if you get the Intel processor, which is at $322. I have a great deal. You get a free 850 watt power supply, enough to power up roughly RTX 5070. You can power up a 5070 Ti technically, but I wouldn't suggest doing 850. I would just, at that point, you know what? 850 is good actually. 5070 Ti, yeah. But yeah, that's a great deal. And ASRock actually has very decent power supplies. Regardless, again, they got such a bad reputation with this whole burning when it comes to AM5. Luckily for us, I haven't got to experience it so far. I mean, I really pushed this PC. I mean, like for roughly about 48 hours of just like benchmarking and pushing it just to see if anything happened, and nada. It seemed like it actually worked out well. So RAM, CL, and frequency, you could go, what would you go with the 270K? Okay, so if you were to go with RAM and you were able to get it, now preferably what I would choose to get would be something at least like around, at the minimum, get something, at the minimum, I would get something like around 6,000 megahertz at the minimum. Of course, the latency, the lower the better. It's always the lower the better. Now you can actually get much more higher frequency. You could go up to 8,000 megahertz, take full advantage, especially you have a very decent motherboard that you ended up picking up. So especially with the 270K plus, they have a mode in the BIOS where you can take full advantage. It actually has I can't remember quite the setting. It's in ASUS. You can actually set it to 8,000 megahertz to take full advantage of it. But again, it's going to be quite pricey if you go that route. Take advantage of it. You can go that route. Now, of course, for AMD, it's a bit different. AMD is like strictly more closer to 6,000 to 6,400 megahertz, but Intel, you can push it much more further. So my Intel will be all white 890 board. Nice, nice. So I see some 5600X motherboard RAM deals on. Yes, and they do have them. They do have the deals. So yeah, exactly. And the reason why RAM speed matters is because they don't have the V cache. So anything that happens like during in-game, it ends up caching into the actual RAM. So the processor can only hold so much until it goes into the RAM. And that's why the X3Ds are so great, because you don't have to worry about the RAM as much when it comes to the whole processing side, thanks to the whole Infinity and the Infinity fabric that you can take advantage of. But again, Intel is really good when it comes to their RAM speeds. You could get even quicker benchmarks. I can't even imagine how quick it would be if I had some extra 8,000 megahertz RAM kits. I could try to obtain some, but of course it's going to be really hard as it is now. But I will try. I will give it a shot, and then we can see what the benchmarks would look like compared to what we have now. Now, Pixel DX says, "Yeah, I'm selling my Hey, nothing wrong with it. That's a decent trade." So I picked up my 270K plus from Newegg for $322. The one you have on's perfect. You did the right thing. And isn't it crazy how quick it is? This processor came out how many weeks ago? Like about 4, right? Roughly about 4 weeks ago. And now it's already at 322. Right? It was supposed to be priced at a lower price point anyway. It was supposed to be at the $300 range, but it went to $350. But all the other stores started dropping the price, rightfully so, because it should be at that lower price range. But now you get it for $322 plus other items with it. So I am not running CU DIMM. That's a good question, actually, Hidden Bull. In fact, you know what's interesting? This is going to interest a lot of guys that are into AMD as well, because apparently the new X970 boards, okay, and this is a whole new motherboard that apparently BioStar is claiming here at Computex, which I don't see them lying or anything, but if they come out with this motherboard, it's supposed to have native support for CU DIMM, so that's also very interesting too. And that's something I want to do too, Hidden Bull. I want to be able to get some CU DIMM. So just to let everyone know, Amazon will spoil you more than Best Buy and Newegg, I promise. And it can be a tricky slope at times too. So let's take a look here. So you can get like this processor plus Intel Spring Game. Oh, that's another thing. You not only do you get the 270K plus, right? You can also get Batman with it, the new Lego Batman. So you can actually get that with the new ASRock power supply if you do end up going with that processor. So that's pretty dope. So for anyone out there that needs a new processor and you choose to go Intel, it does come with a game. It comes with Lego Batman. So anyway, speaking of which, if you want to look for more deals, let me see if they have any deals right now. Last time we checked, they didn't have any deals for the AMD CPUs. Now, typically you can look up the CPU that you want, and when you click it, you'll see other options. Now, right now on Newegg, they do have it for a pretty decent deal at $439, right? So let's go into it. We'll go into it, and then right now it seems that not really much deals. Not too many deals I see going on here. They do have 2 combo kits down on the bottom here. Interesting combo kits. So if you look on the bottom here, they do have, you can get the 9800. These are kind of funny though, because look, you get a 9800X3D with some RAM and an SSD for $949. So yeah, it's still a good deal. Because technically technically the CPU itself is about $439. So you split the two, it's still kind of expensive though. And that's 1 terabyte. So it's a 1 terabyte PCI Express 5 NVMe you can get, that's Samsung, and a G-Skill Trident RGB that's probably CL36, I bet. And not CL30. CL32, okay. CL32, roughly about $519 worth of value there. So I'm in love with. So I just saw the Gigabyte 9070. Oh, that's really good. Really, please share the link. You got me curious now. You're going to need a 270K plus for that game. Okay, it's funny. I heard so much BS about the specs. I never actually got to check them. I was looking at something else. I forget what it was, but it wasn't like a Batman. It was specifications for another game. But I heard that they're mad ridiculous. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at it together. That would be fun. I've seen the AMD and Intel combining. No? No. I want to know what you're on because I would love to be on it. For the price of $99.50 X3D, you could get a combo. Yeah, that's true. Like technically, the price of the $99.50 X3D 2, Weenie's completely right. You can get this nice, wonderful RAM kit and CPU combo. Definitely much more worth it compared to, especially for those who are into gaming. Definitely much more worth it getting this combo kit. Amazon sent to computer desk. What? Let's go look up this Lego Batman specs. You know what's crazy? I don't expect it to look crazy phenomenal. Like graphics wise, but who knows? Let's take a look at it together, guys. So, okay, so this is Lego Batman specs. Let me know if you guys can see mobily. If you can't, I will enlarge it for you guys. So let's take a look at this. So you need at the minimum, you know what? I'll enlarge it anyway. That looks tiny on mobile. There you go. That's better, right, guys? So the minimum specification that you need is Windows 11. You need a 10600K or a Ryzen 5 1600. Okay, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then you need a 960 or 4 gigabytes of a 6400. What? That's actually pretty hefty for like minimum. Or a A580 8 gigabytes. And that's for low 1080p with 30 frames. What? That does not sound that doesn't sound optimized. I see what you mean. That's just minimum. That's pretty wild. Let's go over to recommended. Let's go over to recommended here. Now, the recommended settings. Windows 11, Intel Core i7 12700 or AMD Ryzen 7. Wow, that's pretty wild too. 12758. Okay, I get that the processor is about like roughly, okay, it's like 4 or 5 years old now. 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super, 8 gigabytes, or AMD's Radeon RX 6650 XT, and then the Intel ARGB 580 for medium 1440p with 60 frames with DLSS, keyword with DLSS, FSR or XESS quality plus frame gen. Wow, so for you to get 60 frames, you have to have you have to have those enabled. If you don't, you're pretty much screwed over then. So now for the 4K side here, Windows 11, Intel Core i7 14700K. Damn, so you must have, that's like you had to have a new PC within the last 3 years. Pretty much the last 3 years. Yeah, AMD Ryzen 7. What? That's today. That's like today's specifications. 24 gigabytes of RAM. And then NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 4070, 12 gigabytes. And then you need, or a Radeon RX. What? 9070 XT, 16 gigabytes for 21, and that's with DLSS. That's with 60 frames with DLSS and frame generation. What? And but the good news is you only need 50 gigabytes available there. No wonder why you need a 270K. Absolutely insane. Yeah, you just practically need a new PC. You might as well say you have to have a new PC within the last 2 years or 3 years even. They must be. I know. That's insane, right? That is absolutely crazy. Destiny, what's up? Great to see you. Man, so I am really curious. Guys, FanBam guys, I think we found a new benchmark game. If your PC can run Batman, out of all games, if it can run Batman, Legacy of Dark Knight, you have a good PC. So if it runs it at 60 frames, you're pretty much set. Do I need a crazy cooler for a Ryzen? No, not for a 5600X. You can get away with the 240 if you're looking for just like a smaller one. That's fine. It'll run fine. 3070, nah. They truly are. I'm doing great, Destiny. You know, I just thought of something funny, guys. Just imagine, right? Take a look. We got Lego Batman, right? So my question is, when DLSS 5, right? When it releases, how will Lego Batman? He's gonna look like a midget Batman. I shouldn't say the word midget, right? He's just gonna look like a small Batman, I should say. He's gonna look like a small adult Batman. Oh man, just terrible if NVIDIA does this. So I don't need to play Lego Batman. Just give me Resident Evil. I agree. Resident Evil. I want to get back into it. Did you see it? Yes, I did. What's ever? You know, I did. I feel so bad because I didn't put up a poll for you guys yet. Now that's a great one to put up on the poll. In fact, so Fambam? Oh, wow. You know what's funny, guys? I just got flagged for hate speech. I got flagged for hate speech in on TikTok. Believe it or not, for saying little guy. I think they changed it to 4K because you needed a 1590. Let me see here. Let me go here and put. Let me look for the poll here and ask the question. Are you interested? I should say do you want to play Black Flag Resynced? So that's going to be the question. Poll is live, so you put one. Peter Dinklage is the next Batman. Yes, yes, and just a reference, guys. Just a reference, guys. That's who he is. That's the guy. That's gonna be with DLSS is 5. That's who it's gonna be. Oh, so just be prepared. If you get DLSS 5, don't be shocked when your Lego Batman turns into this guy. He's gonna be the new Bruce Wayne, pretty much. So far, we got a mix. We got yes and no's. Yes and no's there. So everyone that's coming into the live, you're probably wondering why the hell do I have a Pete Dinklage on the live? It's because this is with DLSS 5 how Batman's gonna look. Now you guys are gonna make me make a meme of this. I'm definitely gonna have to make a meme. Oh man, that's too funny. Of course, NVIDIA would not be happy, but hey, it is what it is. It's the truth, right? I mean, just imagine DLSS 5. You get the Caped Crusader there with the, but oh man, yeah. Once I get the 3070, I think I'll be pretty much set for a couple of years. Hey, I mean, it's good enough for a lot of people out there. A lot of people will be satisfied with something like a 3070. You don't have to have the latest and the greatest, but also be really mindful. If you do go into the used market, be sure to check it out. Make sure that it is in working condition because it's a very common thing when you go out there. You'll get it's. I know the guys have been through this. Some of you have been through this where you had to be careful that if you were to purchase a graphics card, that it was not being used for something like cryptocurrency when they were using it for mining at times. And now you got to make sure that it wasn't pretty much abused, truly. So just be mindful if you do go into the used market and purchase. I think Micro Center still actually you can still purchase 3070s. I think NVIDIA still mentioned that they will still keep that in production. So it's funny where this AI wheel is going. I might as well cancel that stream on TikTok. I probably got to redo it now because TikTok stopped my stream for hateful slurs, apparently. Oh, man. That's wonderful. I think it did. Let me just double check it here. Let me see. Then restart it and see if it works here. I'll let you guys know. Yeah, I think they took me off air. What's up, Leland? What's going on? Look at the yes. I think that's what we were looking at the other day, but we will take a look at that. Let me fix this, guys. Let me try to do this again. Freaking TikTok. Them and thinking I have a hateful speech. I think they have something against Pete Dinklage there. They truly do because they were not happy with that comment. Okay, so let me do this again. You know what? I'll power that off, end it now. Okay, so now what I will do is now I gotta kind of reset it. There we go. Live. There, and now I gotta do that again. Really? They are so ridiculous, guys. Okay. There we go. Back live. Okay. No, so Addie wants you to say hi. Oh, what's up, Addie? Hi, Addie. Check general and Discord. Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm going to check out general and Discord, guys. If you guys are a part of the Discord, make sure to fall in. Make sure to join in. It's completely free. It should be automatically linking. Yeah. It'll come up. Let's see. We will go into Discord here. We're not going to switch off. We're going to go over to Discord, over to general. Oh, this is perfect. There you go. There you go, guys. I'll show you exactly what I see right now. So, take a look, guys. If you want DLSS on, this is what you can expect. there it is. DLSS 5 in action. Sneak peek. This is the Dark Knight. There he is in all his glory. Man, you don't want to mess with this guy. He's everything that you wouldn't think it was. Oh, man. Oh, DLSS 5. If you want DLSS 5, guys, this is enabled. So I'll show you what he looks like. This is DLSS 5 on. And now DLSS 5 off. Let's see. Oh, I gotta look him up now. Oh, right here. And DLSS 5 off. There he is. That's how he looks like. So far, the majority of the polling says no, they are not interested in playing Black Flag. And let me know, guys. That does look better than Lego Batman. And if you guys are curious, you want a sneak peek that maybe they'll get. I mean, you know, they do have the whole AI voice generation. Once it turns on, you'll hear this. You'll hear a very familiar voice, and the very familiar voice would turn on. You see that you could just imagine this guy right here. That's what you're gonna hear with DLSS 5. Oh, you gotta love it. Maybe that's what we'll see in Computex. It might be a surprise there. Now I think about that, I got Lego Batman. No. Yes. Yes, you're gonna definitely have to download the game. That's automatically what we're gonna think of. Someone's gonna end up modding it, especially with DLSS 5. That's yes, with DLSS 5. Oh, with frame gen for Lego. Oh, that's what DLSS 5 and frame gen for Lego Batman. Oh man. So let's go back to the bundles real quick. You guys are probably like, what? Why are we talking about Lego Batman? We're talking about, it's the reason is because we got to be grateful for this whole DLSS 5 when it comes into play, guys. Because when DLSS 5 is here, everything's going to look realistic. So all the games that you play now, they're supposed to have some realism. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, Leland. So it seems that most of you are not happy with the whole Black Flag resynced. I can understand why some people feel a bit mixed about it, and I can see why. It's much more colorful. I know some people preferred much more of. I feel like the original one was a bit more cinematic when it came to Black Flag, and I think some of you guys were certainly looking for that. And were some of you looking for more of that cinematic type of look when it came to Black Flag Resynced, or what was it that made you feel questionable or disappointed about this upcoming title? So I'll turn off that poll. I'll throw up another one in a bit. So feel free to voice your opinion. I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Or feel free to ask any questions that you have about any PC builds that you have coming up. Now, when it comes to, oh, looks like you get a free gift with AMD, guys. I did miss that. So if you are getting something that's AMD, what is it? Maybe I'm forgetting something here. Let's see. Okay, so certain processors, one Newegg. For anyone that's getting a new processor, I think with DLSS 10, we are the player. Like in the yeah. I think about that more and more often each day, like how the direction it's headed. I could see it. Maybe a lot sooner than we think. I could see that coming very soon. Now, when it comes to the processor, they do have a gift with it. A 9800 X3D, you get free Corsair CX 750 watt power supply. Um, that's a bit of a mixed bag there. 750 watts is kind of limited. That's like saying you're you're definitely going to get like a 9070 XT with the processor. Um, you're really pushing it with a 5070 Ti with 750 watts. You can make it happen. Squeeze, what's going on? You can certainly make it happen, but 750 watts. Hopefully they give you like a little leg room to upgrade, and they give you $15 off if you go with the 9600X, which we just looked at. So you can purchase it as low as about $175. No, $185. Sorry, it's $15 off. So 185, and then if you get a 5500, they give you a free CPU air cooler. So nothing grand, nothing too crazy. This one's a decent gift. You get the Ryzen 7 5000 series. You get the Harp Mini Core wired gaming mouse. Their gaming mice are actually really good too. It's accurate. The DPI is wonderful. Yeah, no, it's pretty wild. It's not like not really great bundles here. I'm seeing. Yeah, Intel definitely has the better bundles. Who doesn't want? Who doesn't? Now the first thing that I think about now when I think of Lego Batman is now I'm gonna automatically think of Peter Dinklage now. So now, thanks to now I'm gonna think of that now. So let's go over to let's go over to Intel now. Let's go over to take a look at Intel. And again, they got the better deals here. So 270K plus. They have a bit more bundles. I guess they got the RAM bundle, plus you can get Lego Batman. Now people are gonna ask, why do I think it's so funny? Now I'm gonna have to tell them the reason why. So you get, again, a better power supply. It's decent, and you get the Intel Spring Game Bundle. So you can take advantage of that, and then they have the pretty much here's another one. Actually, they got motherboards on the bottom. How about this? That's so crazy. So it seems like every time you go to Newegg's page, pretty much, it kind of generates these random bundles that they have. Now, I know some people are a bit questionable on some of the bundles that they how much power does the 5070 Ti use? They recommend at least a 750 watt power supply when you are using the 5070 Ti. So it's not really using a ton. I believe it's roughly about 350, I think it is, 350 or a little bit more. I think a little bit more if you include the PCI Express slot there. But I believe it's around that range around there. But if you were to get this, it wouldn't be bad. Again, you got some motherboard combos here. You got the Intel Core Ultra 7 270K Plus with the ROG Strix 7890E gaming. Matter of fact, it's the same, pretty much the same thing you got out there. The CPU motherboard combo with the Intel Core, that's actually a decent one. Again, it's the e-gaming Wi-Fi motherboard it comes with. So you could get actually these two together for $577. And then they do have the MSI. Oh, was that the reason why they threw the question? But the question was for a Hero and not for a e-gaming. But the other one's at MPG Z890 Carbon Wi-Fi for $562. Now, and the other one is Gigabyte. So you get a decent pick. You could get Gigabyte's Z890 or Elite out of the choice too. So I feel like this year's Prime Day deal won't give too much on PC parts. I hope so. Hey, like whatever I find out, I will certainly post it up as quick as possible. I'll try to post it like within the day. And I'll definitely let you guys know as soon as it happens once the Prime Day deals do come. It should be in July. Usually it's like the first week of July that they have them. Better off buying off of B&H. Really? That's interesting. B&H has better bundles. It's typically you don't really see that. There we go. That is a good looking motherboard. The IO cover is, yeah, it is. It's honestly a great choice, like out of all of them. Man, they actually got some really good sales actually going on. I don't know about that Corsair Dominator. That Corsair Dominator is still really expensive there. $1274 if you want a Corsair Dominator. Insane. Oh, what happened there? That's weird. Okay, let me go into here then. I just got to fix something, guys, real quick. That was weird what happened there. There we go. Unless I got in trouble. Okay, so speaking of which, so a 5070 Ti and a Ryzen 7 5800 XT 105 watt CPU, that would be perfect. Absolutely. Was 546 for 270K plus, and Strix Gaming E ended on the 30th though. And how much do they want? Yeah, so you would have saved like an extra, like roughly like an extra $30. That would be worth it. Definitely worth it. Let's go back over here. See what other deals that we got going on here with the Shell Shocker. So let's see, power supplies. It seems like power supplies is a big thing. They got Gigabyte's RTX 5070 Ti. This combo kit's not too bad. A CPU, 9850X3D, ASUS Prime RTX 5070, and the Rosewool VMG 850 watt. I'm not a big fan of that bundle there. What do you guys think of that bundle there? It didn't look bad. Definitely not a big fan there. Crank up the eye candy. Never like shopping with I hate the third-party sellers. Yeah, you know, that the thing is, that's why I always stress, like, you gotta turn off the third-party sellers when it comes to Newegg. Otherwise, it could be a complete pain to deal with. For sure. They got the, yeah, nothing too crazy. It seems like the Micro Center deals are definitely a bit more on the edge there. Yeah, let's go back on Micro Center, guys. We could look on Amazon too, in fact, guys, and see what they have going on there too. But so far, it seems like Micro Center has a deal. Let's go on their top deal side. Let's see. 9800X. Okay, the X3D, we saw that a bit earlier, the 265K. 9070 XT Challenger, so it dropped down like $10. Nothing too crazy when it comes to that. My RAM is sitting in USPS limbo. That sucks, man. That's, you know, I hear a lot of people are getting their stuff stuck right now. I really hope when they ship out this Steam controller, it's not going through USPS. Hopefully it's going through a decent carrier. I definitely prefer UPS or FedEx over that. Most of the time too, they just like, they leave it in the most weirdest places too. They got this is a decent power supply, 750 watts though. Hyperflow ARGB. Man, I feel like they're really reaching here, like when it comes to sales. Because nothing here is like nothing here makes you want to buy something, you know. Let's try on the graphics card side and see what they have. One of my favorite motherboards is the late Gigabyte X. Yeah. Did you guys see that? Charizard, what's up? Oh, you got really in 2 days. That's pretty quick. Okay, so they got a 5070 Ti where you can get for $969.99. 5070, they're really trying to get rid of the 5070s. 9060 XT, so It's all the stuff that you would figure that they're trying to get rid of for the most part. Let's see. Let's go back to the bundles. The bundles are definitely the better ones here. 9850 XRD, ASUS B850E Tough Gaming, and you get a G-Skill Flare X5 Series 32GB RAM kit. So this one's not too bad. This one's pretty decent. Now on the here goes the kit, the 9950 X3D2. I wonder who's buying these. And if you go down there, of course, the Threadripper kits. Oh, I forgot to mention that. So right now we got this thing that is going on. I don't think I set it on though. I'll set it on for next time on the super chat for Saturday. But anyway, what we are trying to do is try to raise money for this upcoming Threadripper build. So if we do this Threadripper build, the goal is up to 7,000. So right now we got $5. Now, this was, of course, one of the Fan Bam's ideas, his proposal. If it happens, it happens. It's great. We can certainly do it. If for some reason we fall under budget, we can't manage to do it, we can always do another build of your guys' choice there. So I ordered a camera lens and the box was, oh, that sucks. Out of a camera lens is not good to have crushed there. So more than likely, we want to go for this whole 9970X build. And if it happens, it would be a very interesting Threadripper build. Damage the lens, but luckily I was just using it for just a ring to put. Oh, okay. I thought you meant an actual camera lens. I thought you meant like a full frame lens. At least, luckily it wasn't that serious because that glass is expensive there. All right, let's go back here. Now, lowest prices for the 3-in-1 PC bundles. So again, the 9800 X3D, tough motherboard, G-Skill Flare, not a bad bundle together. Certainly seems the best they can do. Now let's take a look at the solid state drives, see how it's looking today. Now we can take a look at all solid state drives and see if the pricing, if it's still pretty nasty. And of course, the Samsung 9100 Pro 2 terabytes is $489, which is absolutely insane and ridiculous. That's very depressing, especially for anyone that is trying to do some sort of a PC build. Now, you don't have to get PCI Express 5. I would highly suggest what to look for. We're going to look for lowest price. And if you have to build a PC, what you can do is get a 1 terabyte drive at the minimum. Let's see if we can find a decent one. These are all external drives, except this one, the Crucial BX500. If you want to get it just to get it, because it's only $150, that's probably a decent choice. Wouldn't really notice it in the speeds. Take a look at the PTM 7950. Sure. Let's see. PTM 7950. I think it's like $30, right? If I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Oh, $20. Because I remember it was expensive. Let's go here. PTM. Wait. That's pretty insane, the kit. For PS5, Steam Deck, CPU. That's pretty wild. Nice. That's a nice, I like it. The one I always think of is this one, the Thermal Grizzly ones. If you go here, that's the adhesive tape. It's this one, I think. Or the compression pad, right? No, that one's for the GPUs. Where is it? It's not this one. Let's go here. Thermal paste. It's got to be under thermal pads. Heat spreaders, mounting frames and tools, modding and monitoring, delighting CPUs. Let's try going on the thermal paste first. Yeah, it's got to be on the other side. Definitely thermal pads. There it is. There's a PTM one. It's this one here. It's actually cheaper than I thought. For some reason, I thought it was more money. I thought it was more money. I thought it was closer to the 30 range. But this is one that a lot of people definitely go for. But yeah, that's pretty wild. I gotta... But I do like the one that you did show Hidden Wolf for sure. This probably only comes with just the pad itself, and that's it. But for those who are looking to cool their CPU without like the mess, this is definitely a good way to do it. But once you put it on there, that's pretty much it. It's just gonna stick on there. Now, typically, they offer all this other stuff. Like when you look at paste and everything, you see like removal. You don't have to get this stuff. Just you just get some alcohol. Practically, just get it on a. Don't use a lot. Use a little bit, and you can use that on a rag and pretty much wipe it clean. And then afterwards, if you want to use something like this, you just simply put it on. You're going to peel this, and then you're going to put on the actual cold plate. And once you put the cold plate on it, that's pretty much installed. But once you do remove it, then you would have to redo it again, pretty much. Because once you compress it, that's pretty much it. So let's see. They have the cryo sheets, highly thermal conductive. Some people don't like that. Carbonaut. See, they got different grades, but this one's like I guess the more. This one's interesting. Carbonaut. So this one is a high-tech carbon pad, and it's excellent alternative for thermal conductive paste. And this is more for those. That's very interesting. It makes you want to try everything, you know. So when you remove it, you can see the spreads out very thin and evenly. It performs, yeah, for sure. It's got to perform good. This one's at a 0.2 millimeter thickness. And I bet yours is probably around that range too, like very tiny. Because the biggest risk, a lot of people think you have to put it on like a piece, like a very thick layer. You don't have to, especially on CPU, because then it ends up doing the exact opposite. It's just not going to actually cool the CPU just as well. So you have to make sure you have just barely enough on there for it to work properly. So so if you are planning to build a PC, remember this is one of the things you certainly need. Now, if you get like certain AIOs, or if you get like certain type of brands when it comes to CPU coolers, most brands usually have it where they come into, they usually have thermal paste with it. And usually the stuff that they come with isn't going to be the best stuff. Most of them will come with more like a ceramic thermal paste, which is more of the typical stuff that you would put on. Chris, show me a camera I should get. I don't know. What will you be using the camera for? It depends on what you're using the camera for. So, let's see what they have here.
Ew.
What happened?
You dropped poop.
Really? So let's see. It all depends. I put the video up to... Oh, really? Nice. Nice. I'm definitely going to like this. Let's go into Discord real quick. We'll go over to... Oh, that's great. That is hilarious. Just to show you guys. You ready? Get ready for this. I gotta put my, I gotta put the speaker on actually so I can hear him. Ready, guys? Hopefully, you guys. Oh, I gotta make sure to turn it on. There we go.
A midnight.
Ready? Now I'll play it.
I'm only half as tall as the Dark Knight. I guess that makes me a midnight.
Oh, that's it. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, yeah. Streaming, gaming, and use in workshop overhead and a great zoom in camera. Typically if you're just using a workshop camera, you can take advantage of like one of like more of like Corsair usually has some like really good stuff like when it comes to their webcams. Or you can go for something like more like a Razer has some decent stuff as well. More more like the Onion Knight. um oh man. The LSS5, it would look like this. So just imagine the cutscenes now. Completely different and modified. You kind's low. What's kind of low? Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, really? It says that you guys can hear me, right? Or did the voice end up going away real quick? Oh, okay, okay. That was weird. Oh, that. Oh, you know why? Because I guess maybe because the desktop audio was on. Maybe that was weird. Yeah, yeah, that was weird. I gotta figure something out because there's some sort of weird echo that happens. Like I get this little weird echo that's going on right now currently with this setup, but I'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think Discord definitely did. Discord can be pretty annoying about that. Let me see. We tried to do that. Restart Discord. Yeah, I think it definitely threw it off there. So, so speaking of which, like when it comes to cooling and everything, it's definitely vital to have decent thermal paste. Oh, okay, but it went quiet. Okay, good. Yeah, I think it was Discord that definitely messed with my settings there. So for anyone out there that's looking for cooling, definitely important. Thermal paste or thermal pads. Just make sure to get something decent, especially when your CPU. Make sure to keep it cool. I'm really curious to test out a little bit more of this whole other stuff that I have. The Ninja Grease. Ninja Grease seems to be pretty interesting. It seems to be interesting, in a way to where it keeps it cool, but it's not crazy different. Yeah, I don't like it either. And anytime it hijacks it, it just like throws it off. It's not that really big deal until you get the 170 watt TDP CPU. It's very hard to keep yeah, it is. Like when I saw the temperatures of it, I was pretty shocked like how quick and hot it got. And I was wondering, like, did I put on the thermal paste correctly? Because I know I did for sure. Usually that's not the problem. I thought, and usually when you put thermal paste on, for anyone who is just building a PC, typically for me and for most people, I've seen it too, to where once you apply the thermal paste, it doesn't actually, that's what I thought too, Hidden. Um, and the crazy thing is, it will end up seemingly like it gets hot, like for the first day or two. And that's normal because you have to let it kind of spread out on its own. And once it heats up to a certain temperature, then it starts to get cooler. So it's like it separates a bit more when it's heated. So it kind of just spreads to a point to where it gets more evenly layered. But as like like compared to what Hidden's saying, like with the thermal pad, it's definitely a much better option for those who are trying to use it for that option for like pretty much like a guaranteed without worry type of deal. So, but I do agree with Hidden. It's definitely very important when it comes to thermals, when it comes to your PC, especially because it's not like all the processors that are coming out now are getting more hot and hot. So you can imagine like how I would imagine the new Intel processor is definitely going to pick up quite a bit of heat. Even when I think of even this Threadripper build, originally I felt that the 3790X was pretty hot, which is the Threadripper SoC. Again, it gets originally 50 degrees was really hot for like a CPU to get hot. But now that's like more of a that's more of the regular you see now, especially in today's processors. So just imagine how hot it's going to be, like even on a larger, like Shimada's Peak type of processor. It's definitely going to be a much more higher temperatures when it is at idle. So again, thermals are important for something like this. So if you are building a PC, it's definitely one of the things you don't want to overlook. So let's go back over here. And I did want to bring up some news to you guys too. Of course, we got this whole Steam controller that's coming in. Definitely going to take a deep dive in it and look at it to see how well it performs. We will measure out to see how the latency is, how accurate the joysticks will be for those who are thinking of that option. It was really tough to get my hands on this controller, as for many people out there that was trying to purchase through Steam, it was not a perfect system. There was no real pre-order for you to order the whole Steam controller. So you would have to log into the website, log into your username, and then pretty much try to be able to hit that button quick enough before any of the bots or before anyone that overwhelms the system to where you would consistently get an error when you were trying to make the purchase. So you would have to consistently spam just like anything else you would, especially if you're trying to get like something that is new, and it's always like this. Well, I guess it did so much more better. You love your Delta Mate? Oh, that's awesome. Glad you're loving it. But luckily we did manage to get our hands on it. Apparently it's packaged. It's processed. I don't have a tracking number just quite yet. Hopefully sometime soon. But I will definitely update you guys once that does come in. So I'm glad you're loving your Delta Mate. That's awesome that you're enjoying it. Now let's go over. Oh, of course. That's weird. Let me get off of this real quick. So how it's a solid product. I might get the heavier stock cooler. Oh yeah? I'm glad you're liking it. It's quite a bit of work. How long did it take you to put everything together? So if you're unfamiliar with the Delta Mate, it's this cooler. That's going to be like pretty much like the custom water loop that you would put into a system. For anyone that is interested in doing something like that, that's definitely a great option. But of course, remember, it's a lot of maintenance too if you do choose to go and do that route of a custom water loop. In fact, that's probably why you mentioned that ECs were on Thermal Grizzly right now. So let's go over to products here. And we'll go to water coolers. They do have some really nice stuff though. One thing that was like one of the go-tos like before when it comes to besides Thermal Grizzly was now you do actually have other options, because not only do you have Thermal Grizzly, you have Corsair that's involved. You also had, my go-to back then was EK, was like big into water cooling, one of the top options you could go for. But now you got a lot more flexibility when it comes to it. So I really took my time because I was taking apart a $4,000 card, probably an hour to transfer it over to the block. Hey, that's nothing wrong. Of course, I get it. It's not a quick process you want to deal with, especially when you are taking apart something like a 5090. So I'm glad you took your time. I believe you had to have the Founders Edition for it to work correctly, correct? Because I know sometimes certain coolers, you have to have a specific type of cooler for it to work properly. Let's see. That's it. There you go. Perfect. I would have probably killed a fourth by dripping sweat on it for me. Yeah, it definitely does take a lot of patience there. This one I got for the Astral specifically. Ah. Yeah, Astral is another one. How was it like how'd you feel about taking apart the Astral? I saw the 5090s kind of tough to take apart as it is, especially the Founders Edition, because it's like split in two different spots, like when you have to take it apart. And then just really being careful is really the hard part, of course. That's just torture, especially because you know you want to get everything done just right. So let's go ahead and check out video cards here. And here it is. Actually, here it is. AMD CU DIMM and cam support. Oh, cam. So apparently cam support too. So BioStar, it will present next generation AMD boards at Taipei 2026, as we mentioned, and claims that the new platform will still use PROM at 21. Yes. So it won't change. It will just have support with CU DIMM and cam support for those who are looking for that type of build. I've taken apart an FE and an Astral. ASUS made the process. I wouldn't think so. Definitely a lot easier, I think, with ASUS. But I'm glad you managed to do it. That's pretty awesome. If you want to post pictures of it, feel free. I'll show it on Discord. I'm sure a lot of people would definitely love to check it out there. So, what's interesting, existing Ryzen 7000, Ryzen 8000G, and Ryzen 9000 processors can use CU DIMM only in bypass mode because their memory controller does not provide native CU DIMM support. So it kind of gives you a glance, if this is true, it kind of gives you a glance of what's possible in the upcoming future when it comes to Zen 6. So you would, not Zen 6, when it comes to AM6. Because I think AM6 will probably transfer everything over. Zen 6 would be kind of like a peak of what's possible. I would say that's probably the bigger component there. And we all just admit that price to performance sucks, and most games aren't worth paying the price when we pay you to play them. Yes. It's always like that. It always seems like that, Tony. I get your point there for sure. Because let's go back here. And this wouldn't go well for Nintendo either with this whole investors apparently trying to force them to raise the prices. It's already bad as it is. So they want them to really push their price up from $450. Nintendo kept that price unchanged with US pre-orders. Now, you know the crazy part? Now, before we all thought $450 was really expensive for the Switch 2. It still technically is, but man, just now it almost seems like the new $450 is almost like $200 nowadays. It's gotten to that point where everything expensive is almost like you have to adapt to the new pricing. Because again, it's like almost like that whole analogy I brought up earlier before about when it comes to purchasing things, you really turn it into double the price of whatever you buy usually, then that is the price that you would pay. So I'm just a tech. I get it, Tony. I think we all feel that way for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of games out there that were free at first, and that uh, price to performance sucks, and most of the games aren't worth paying. So again, it depends on the topic. Games wise, yes. But when it comes to hardware, you can get away with a lot of price and performance, I feel like. But I can agree on the game side, especially like when you think of games, like you automatically think of pay to play type of games. I don't really like games like when it comes to things like for example, when it comes to what's it called, uh, like something like Red Sec, like Battlefield Red Sec, or like any of those type of games where you kind of pay to play. You can pay to get a bit better, like those type of games. Yeah, exactly. Like something like that. Pay to win. At a time, I think like the first one that really truly did it, and I think you guys would definitely agree with this, is like WoW. WoW is like the first one, World of Warcraft, like where you could actually like start buying items, and ever since then, and that's like where everything kind of went like downhill from there. It seems like it, at least. Let me see. Ooh, let me move that up here. So let's go back over here. But it's getting wild to the point to where, like even this, like Apple removes high memory Mac Studio M3 Ultra options. Now 96 gigabytes is now the only configuration. Huh. Crazy. But this one's very interesting. Reaches 8,000 mega transfers without XMP voltage. Just imagine. That's probably like $2,000 right there. Easily. Now it's at CL56, 1.1 volts, and fully compliant with JEDEC standards to separate from the DDR5 8000 kits on the market. And it's really hard. If you guys really look for an 8000 memory kit, like if you take a look at Micro Center and you try to find one, you won't find any. You really won't. And before, it was like a lot more common that you can find something like this. Let me just type 8000. No, I don't think so. Even if you Google it, it's probably going to be hard. Newegg. CDIM. Let's try that. And then we go. Oh, I apologize for that. Apologize. I'm here. There we go. I have V-Color 8000 in my cart right now. I haven't pulled the trigger because my wallet will scream in pain. Yeah, really. Yeah, I would think so too. It's expensive. I didn't mean to. I apologize, but I will be going in a bit. I just want to look at this with you guys real quick. But I get it. 8,000. Like, here we go. 680. There it is. Was this the same kit that you have? In a bit. No, I didn't end just quite yet. I apologize. V-Color Manta Xfinity RGB DDR5 at 32 gigabytes. And then they do have, look at this one, 64 gigabytes at 6400 megahertz. That is crazy. But now I can't leave without saying goodbye to you guys. You know that's. I have the one that comes with the. Oh, that's pretty dope. It looks like 4 sticks, but it's two sticks and 2 fillers. So, man, that's. If this happens, I definitely want to reach out to see some of these RAM sticks because I'm really curious about them. So, Fam guys, Hidden Bull, Charizard, now I'm leaving, Polar Builds. Of course, I gotta thank Squeeze. I gotta thank Steven Anderson that was here. Piranix, Southstar. I thank Destiny. Of course, I gotta thank Leland. I gotta thank all of you guys that were here at the stream, as I will be finishing this up, and we will continue on Saturday. Hopefully by then, maybe we'll get the controller then. We can take a look at it. And if you guys want to take a look at benches, we could certainly do something like that. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I certainly do appreciate it. And Nellis, thank you for the wonderful memes. I love them. Yes, it always does. Z-Man, thank you for coming in as always. I appreciate you guys. Big shout out to everyone that's always here in these wonderful streams. And of course, Weenie. I wonder where Weenie went, but I'm sure if he's here, he's here. But thank you, all of you guys. And hopefully I get to see you guys on Saturday coming up. And if you ever have any requests, feel free to mention. I will definitely consider it if you have any questions, of course. And thank you guys so much for joining in. And remember, enable DLSS 5 when it's here for Lego Batman, because we're here to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chris Mizo, signing out.